Loren Sparling is about to talk about the history of Taormina.
Okay, so Taormina was founded as a sub-colony of Naxos. This was back in the 760s BC. Naxos being the first Greek settlement in all of Sicily. They were founded by the city-state of Chalkis, and then a year later the Corinthians settled in Syracuse. These are independent. These were colonies associated with the city-states back in Greece. Anyway, flash forward a couple of decades, and the Chalkidians at Naxos found their own colony at Taormina called Taormenion. Okay, so Taormenion becomes eventually a city-state. And has its own history. There's the Greek theater, or the inhabitants build the Greek theater, as well as a number of other sites that don't really remain today, because they were built over by the Romans when they came. And the Romans came to Sicily during the First Punic War in the 200s, the early 200s BC. The Sicily is contested. One of the holdouts was Taormina, so actually there was a battle that was fought just on the outskirts of Taormina with Octavian, who was wounded there. Octavian eventually becoming Augustus, first emperor of Rome. Anyway, the Romans take over Sicily, take over Taormina eventually, and then we have the Byzantines, an empire that's expanding into the central Mediterranean at this time. They eventually take over Taormina as well, and there are remains scattered throughout the city that reflect this. The Normans eventually come. The Normans from France. They were hired as mercenaries. And then sort of set up shop in Messina, which is just to the northwest of Taormina. There are people at Syracuse who don't like this, and they it's battleground. So that's the Normans, and they eventually set up shop for a couple of centuries. Let's see. So that's the Normans. Who am I forgetting? The Spanish eventually come. They kick out the Normans. They begin the Spanish, the Aragonese. They begin in the west. Eventually conquer all of Sicily. Again, Taormina is one of the holdouts. But with the arrival of the Spanish, it begins 400 years of occupation, and I'd say about 300 of those years, Sicily was not paid much attention to. Sicily sort of developed its own culture, given all of these cultural influences. They were left to fend for themselves.
I'd like you to say a word on the fact that actually this town, of this region, this island, for many centuries has welcomed and hosted the three monotheist religion, living in peace and tolerance for each other, actually until the Spaniards arrived and they kicked out the Jews and the Muslims. Can you tell us a little bit more about this coexistence of the three monotheist religion in Sicily?
Well, that sort of goes back to the Muslim occupation. The Muslims were very tolerant of other religions. As long as if you were a non-Muslim living in a Muslim-controlled territory, all you had to do was pay a little tax, and they would allow you to practice whatever it is you wanted. It was only up to with the Reconquista in 1492. That was sort of the beginning of forcibly you either become a Christian or get out. So it was really up until that point that, I mean, in my opinion, things begin to go downhill. But that is history. It's that coexistence that's absolutely wonderful. And again, Sicily is an island, and it's treated as a frontier of many empires, be it Greek, Roman, Byzantine, what have you. It's always been treated as a frontier, not at the heart of these empires. So religions were allowed to sort of flourish, and even during the Spanish, there were these pockets that were practicing other things, other religions. So it's Sicily is on the fringe, but it shouldn't be ignored as a result.
And all of that is also evident here in Taormina. We have a section of town which was clearly the former Jewish section.
Correct.
And you can still tell by the name of the streets, and another section you can easily tell that was the Arabic section. You were mentioning, for example, the castle, which is right above Taormina, and also the fact that in Taormina we have even churches which have been built on Greek temples. And I think this should, in this case, this is one of the cases that history should teach us a lot in terms of peaceful coexistence.
Exactly.
So thank you very much, Loren.
Thank you.
And thank you for this short lesson on the history of Taormina.
Thank you.